My name is Tom. I dream of becoming a writer, but I found myself lacking the talent for writing. Now I run a bookstore. At least I can be surrounded by books all day. One day by chance, a girl came to my bookstore. She picked a very special book, and I was immediately attracted to her. I invited her to dinner. She declined neatly, preparing to pay, only to find she had no cash. I let her go first. The money can be paid later. She smiled and promised me, assuring that she would bring the money back. When I got off work at night, she appeared behind me, handing me the money. When I turned around after taking it, she was still standing behind me. She was now a bit interested in the morning's invitation. I told her there was a good sushi restaurant on the street. On the way, I found that we had a lot in common. I talked to her about my mother's death, the painful experience of not realizing my dream of being a writer. She seemed to comfort me, and also told me about her own tragic past. She had no parents, and depended on her brother when she was a child, just like the heroine in the first book she read, Jane Eyre. Hearing this, I prepared a surprise for her. I took her back to the bookstore and took out my treasured first edition of Jane Eyre, which also had the author's signature. She fell in love with me. Xiao Sang asked me why I always stayed at home. I told her, because my father has a new girlfriend, and my relationship with them is not good. I heard the man outside the house roaring. That was her brother, who owes a large gambling debt and is in desperate need of help. Sandra drove him away, but he is still the brother she has depended on since childhood. A few days later I heard that her brother was beaten by the debt collectors. Sandra decided not to indulge her brother anymore and to cut off the relationship with him. But I know, this troublesome brother will sooner or later involve her. When I learned that the debt was $350,000, I decided to help her pay it off. Sandra was very surprised. She couldn't believe I was so rich. I told her not to worry, because my father is a real rich man. After hearing my words, Sandra got angry, blaming me for not being honest. She said she wouldn't take a penny from me. I firmly told her, meeting her is the happiest thing in my life. I don't want her to suffer any hardship and threat. On the bustling street, I handed her a large sum of cash and agreed to meet at the sushi restaurant where we first dined after paying the money. That day it was raining heavily, and she never showed up. My name is Sandra. Because of illegal drug use, I am currently on parole. My parole officer is a greedy woman, always threatening to take me back. Fortunately, I have secretly recorded. I want to record the evidence of her guiding bribery. She found out about this and was about to arrest me. At this time, a strange man came over. He wanted to redeem me. Let the parole officer make a price. The parole officer noticed the luxury car the man was driving and the expensive watch he was wearing and said $5,000. The man said this was out of the question and was about to leave. The parole officer noticed the man's watch was worth $7,000. She said she could give the man $2,000 cash, as long as the man gave her the watch. In this way, I was handed over to this man's disposal. He took out a new watch from the car, and I realized he was a fraudster. He also gave me 1,000 yuan. I followed him to his house. He said the cooperation was very pleasant. Now I can take the 1,000 yuan and go, or stay to continue the cooperation. I chose to stay. His name is Max. He told me, what I have to do in the future is to make others think you are another person, just like what he has done before. He let me stay at home to read books, but I used the money to buy some drugs. Max found out and immediately kicked me out. I cried and promised I would not do it again. He opened the door, gave me another chance. We lived together. He told me about various famous works, practiced the lines in the book over and over again. We fabricated our school experiences. Even the details of the graduation thesis had to be recited fluently. From the dormitory where we lived during school to the exact graduation date, we practiced over and over again until I could answer fluently when I heard the question, as if really telling my own experience. We also created various interpersonal relationships. Both parents died. There is a brother who depends on each other for survival, but the brother is a gambler, recently being pursued and killed. Max also took me to practice in real combat, randomly selected a man to start. I was very neat and let him fall into the trap. Max was very satisfied. He praised my talent. He also rewarded me by saying I was very beautiful. My name is Max. Recently, my mother has made a new boyfriend. He is a famous rich man in the city. My mom is a love brain. Again and again, she was deceived by scumbags. I humiliated her in public, making her cry and be heartbroken. The old man was very distressed about her, generously took me in, said I could stay in their mansion for a while. This mansion is very good. You can overlook the whole city. I want to seize the opportunity to make a big hit. Call a friend to pretend to be a police officer to come to the door. Make it look like I'm about to be arrested. The old man immediately put out his status, took out a large sum of money to let the police officer go away. Just when the money was about to get, my mother told the old man to stop. She exposed me, said I will only play some tricks, was very disappointed with me, let my friends and I leave immediately. The old man wanted to laugh a little. So much trouble just to knock 1,000 yuan. He gave me a piece of advice as an old hand. If you want to steal, steal a big one. I returned to my own place. My mother quickly took the opportunity to see me. She regretted that she had hit too hard, kissed me, then sat on my thigh. The woman who played my mother is called Madeline. She said the progress is very smooth. We will soon get it. Facing my jealousy, she comforted me. Soon after, I went to see the old man. I was ready to talk about the conditions. During the period, I also met his only son Tom. This son is very useless. The only dream is to open a bookstore. There is no courage to inherit the company. The old man is ready to give me some money. Let me start my own business, which means let me go far away. Don't disturb his love with my mother. I said the money is not enough. Want $700,000 cash. Once I get the money, I will disappear immediately. After getting $700,000, I celebrated with Madeline and Tipsy. Tipsy participated less. We divided a bit of the change for him and sent him away. We too were planning to retire soon and start our own happy life. But Madeline suddenly realized the old man's son Tom was also easy to deceive, and we could squeeze a little more money out of him. It's not too late to leave then. At this time, I spotted a girl named Sandra to take action. She was very talented and quickly helped me get 350,000. As soon as the money was in hand, I dropped Sandra, preparing to fly away with Madeline. But she suddenly changed her mind. The old man wanted to marry her. The 1.05 million she swindled could be given to me, but she wanted to stay with the old man. She didn't want to spend the rest of her life on fraud. Playing some small tricks was too boring. To prevent me from obstructing her plan, she even leaked my information to the police. I had to start a journey of escape. My name is Madeline. My dearest husband just passed away. I was in deep sorrow and unable to entertain relatives. The lawyer called me and my stepson Tom to read the will. To my great surprise, my husband left all the inheritance to me. It was too absurd. These properties and properties worth a fortune should have belonged to his son Tom. The lawyer said the testator thought the son was weak and incompetent, considering the son had been deceived out of 350,000. Even if the family property was inherited by him, it is believed that it would be squandered soon. So he chose not to inherit the property to his son Tom. But Tom would still be taken care of by a trust fund. He could continue to run the bookstore and continue to manage the company's foundation. This is already very generous. As for everything else, real estate, property, shares, stocks, and property worth 9.2 billion, all belong to Ms. Madeline. Although the control of the foundation belongs to Tom, if Tom can't manage the foundation, or if he dies, the control of the foundation will be transferred to the trustee, Ms. Madeline. After hearing this, I was shocked. Tom also became at a loss. I told him, no matter what, I will treat him as a family member, support him unconditionally. Tom had nothing to say, and left quietly. Finally, everyone left. In this space that belongs to me alone, I trembled with joy. I bought the most top-level mansions, carried the bags that all women dream of. Of course, I also need a top-level luxury car. All of this is too good to be true. I shop in luxury stores, make friends with celebrities. I still pick up things, by the way, but no one dares to suspect me. Life is wonderful to the extreme. I really don't want it to end. Suddenly, my stepson Tom called a professional team over, saying he wanted to investigate his fraud case. I was slightly shaken in my heart. I advised him to let go as soon as possible, start a new life, reward him with delicious food, and choose a new apartment for him. But he was still upset, said he wanted to find out the female scammer. I pointed out bluntly, he just couldn't forget that woman and wanted to see her again. But people always have to start a new life, rather than entangle in the unbearable past. It's better to start a new life. Tom was soon persuaded by me, We were in a good mood. Went to look for a new apartment together. But the phone still came. The detective team said they found the female scammer. He had clearly told the team not to continue looking, but the team was still not reconciled to the clues being interrupted, and found the female scammer. The scammer took a lot of medicine, had a cutting reaction. I was really afraid she would talk nonsense. I took the initiative to see her. She was unconscious, but still recognized me. She knew everything, because Max told her. Her existence was to show that this son was incompetent, so that the lying widow could inherit all the inheritance. I couldn't believe Max would tell everything. I decisively entered the negotiation phase. I asked her how much she wanted. She said she didn't want money, just wanted to see her beloved Max. In order to shut up this crazy woman, I had to contact Max. After a week of patient suffering, Max replied to me. We made an appointment to meet in a hidden place. Sandra cried and questioned Max. Why did he abandon her? At the same time, the detective team and Tom actually came. Tom went out of control after discovering the truth. Pointed the gun at Sandra, and then found out that I planned all this. Pointed the gun at me. Sandra pushed the gun away. I immediately picked it up. Tom ran over crazily. At this time the gun actually went off. Tom died in front of us. The detective team has already called the police. The police will come soon. I don't want to go to jail. Once I go to jail, I will have nothing. I am willing to make compensation. I can return all the money, give the money to the company's foundation. Under the supervision of the detective team, I immediately called the lawyer, transferred all my assets to the foundation. After returning all the money, they promised to disguise the scene as a robbery scene. We three got on the plane, ready to escape from here. Start over. Max noticed my calmness. I was so calm. I said I am professional. I gave the money to the foundation. The boss of the foundation is Tom. Tom is already dead. So guess who the trustee will be? It is me, Madeline. After avoiding the wind, I can start over. In a trance, I realized the red blood stain on the corner of my clothes seems not to be blood. It's too easy to wipe off. At the same time, we found that Sandra sitting next to us has disappeared. I am Sandra. Max did not tell me the whole plan. He completely dropped me after getting the money. I was poor and had to work in a bar, until one day, I saw the truth in the newspaper. I knew I was wrong. I wanted to atone. I found Tom, told him the truth, and found Tipsy. Tipsy because of the uneven share, told everything out. We decided to get back what we deserved. Madeline once told me, fraud lies in continuous practice. Until you are proficient. We found new partners, practiced over and over again, until we were proficient. It's hard to distinguish between true and false. In the end, we succeeded. Tom did not die. He has the right to control all the assets of the foundation, and the two failed old hands can only run away with their heads in their hands. I made Tom, lost everything, and helped him get everything back. There is a sushi restaurant on the street. We will have dinner there. We still have a lot of topics about books.